So I had an idea to make a two-piece bow. This is how I treat my bows. But instead of starting from scratch, I was curious if I could take a bow that I've already made and turn it into a two-piece bow. Hey, if you're new, my name's Kramer Ammons. Thanks for joining me today. We're gonna make a two-piece bow out of the single hickory bow. So first I think of probably the most common way with a sleeve, but then I don't have one of those on hand. The second option is some sort of dowel, generally a metal dowel that's a clip and lock system. You clip it together, twist, and then it locks into place. That looks really clean. But again, I don't have that on hand. And those are proven and work out great, but I was curious if I could make a two-piece bow coming up with some sort of solution just from things in the shop. It's a little nerve-wracking because I don't want to ruin a good bow, but I kind of have to temporarily ruin it in order to make it the two-piece bow. And ultimately, I'm just guessing on a design of what could work. So here's what I'm thinking. I first want to beef up the handle. If I'm going to join these together in a way that I can remove them, I don't want that joint to be flexing. I had the idea of putting a hinge on somehow and hinging it back that way, which sounded so cool at the moment, but I just don't see a very practical use for that. So instead, I'm thinking of using a wooden dowel. But if I use a circular dowel, then it can still twist. So what if I use like a square dowel? Is that a dowel anymore? Now this would be inlaid inside of this. Of course, I need to beef this up and make this a little bit smaller. But if that's the case, then these two pieces can clip together, and with it being the shape, it'll keep the top and the bottom aligned and keep it from rotating like a dowel would rotate. The chances are pretty high that this design's gonna change here in a couple minutes. I'm not positive on the details, but I am pretty positive that I wanna add more material to make it a non-bending handle and then make sure the tiller still looks good. So let's add some material as step one. The modern two-piece takedown bow, as we know it today, began to take shape in the 20th century. The invention was largely driven by the needs of bow hunters and archery enthusiasts who wanted a bow that could be easily transported in a backpack or on a plane. This led to the development of bows that could be broken down into multiple pieces. This makes the bow much easier to transport and store. Additionally, these bows are often designed so that they can be reassembled quickly without any loss of accuracy or performance. The heat strip's doing its thing, but realize because you're making a video about something doesn't mean you know anything about it. I do know how to make bows like this. This. Even this, sinew-backed Osage bow. Or this, or the bow for my son. These.
You're not gonna cut one of those in half, are you?
No. This, those, limbs like these, or this, and long bows like this. So I know how to make all of those bows, but making this one is a little bit risky because I've never done it before. But do you know what's not risky? Element, the sponsor of today's video. The best electrolyte drink you can get. I've been drinking Element for years now. Me and my family love it. It is, for me, the best substitute for unhealthy drinks because it tastes delicious and it's perfect for you. I can only speak from my experience, but I was dehydrated more often than I realized, and by adding electrolytes that are good without the sugar, my energy increased, and so now I'm just more steady with my energy throughout the entire day. On top of that, all the hiking and running and athletic things I like to do, Element's just perfect. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 of potassium, and 60 of magnesium. Do I know exactly what that means? No, but what I know it means for me is that it helps my energy stay higher longer. Also, what I know is that when you sweat out a lot of sodium, and this replaces that. You will notice a complete difference of just water or having Element to rehydrate. It's a night and day difference of how you feel. So right now, Element is offering you a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving Element packets free with any order. This is a fantastic way to try 8 of their flavors or share it with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/Kramer. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinkelement.com/Kramer. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so this is cool. So let's take off our heat strip. Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where I tell you one thing I'm gonna do and then I do something differently. Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where the goal is to embarrass Kramer. Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where we make cool things. Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where we're gonna saw off the wood we just glued onto this bow. Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where 80% of the videos are your ideas.
Welcome to the Kramer Ammons YouTube channel, where we protect our lungs.
Welcome to the... So after brainstorming many methods, here's the one I'm leaning towards attempting. I told my brother that I'm suffering from paralysis of the analysis because I don't want to break the bow. And then he said...
Break it.
Okay, give me some more options here.
That's what I said, break the bow.
Have you ever done something that feels like a sin? Look how good those glue joints were though, huh? I think strategy-wise, it makes the most sense to build the mechanism of the takedown part of the bow and then refocus on tillering because things could slightly adjust. And you know what I like to do, work in an absolute disaster of a mess. That way, you look busy or stupid and disorganized. Then you can't find things. And all you do is look for things instead of doing things. So this is our backbone. This will be the strength of the entire bow right here. The key when gluing things together is to make sure you don't get full coverage. That way, as Kaz said, we can make sure we break it. Just like that. It's really easy. Then wrap it in plastic so it doesn't cure. Then we'll see you in 3 years. If you're using heat strip, don't use plastic. And also you might want a temperature regulator. And don't leave it on things that will melt, because it will. Watch this.
In 1927, a patent for a two-piece steel bow was filed. H.M. Wilcox invented this two-piece steel bow, often with a cork handle. And they actually got this bow to mass production. Here's a fascinating ad from 1931. It reads, "True temper steel bows are forged from the super alloy steel, hand-tempered and tested. They combine the power of the ancient armor-piercing bows of the East with the accuracy of the famous English longbow. They bring 3 great advantages to the sport of kings. Number 1, they are practically unbreakable from normal use. Number 2, their power and accuracy is unchanged by the weather, hot, cold, wet, or dry. And number 3, they are quickly demountable, therefore easy and convenient to carry." I found this fascinating. Bow International has a great article on it if you want more. Do you see this? This thought process? I did not think through. Remember this for later.
I was thinking to get it working and then I can shape it all down together. Because the pins will keep it in line as well. This is how I treat my bows.
My idea was to add this solid piece of fiberglass and have pins hold it in place.
If everything goes as planned, which it always does for me, should be able to just shimmy this down in there. So my measurement wasn't great. It's steps now. All right, guys, this will not work. We'll see you on the next video. I don't think I'd even string it.
I first noticed the fiberglass was not strong enough.
Look at that. It obviously wouldn't work. Why did I think it would? The fiberglass would have to be so thick that it's just non-bending. and I made it thick enough where it would be like a 130-pound bow, but for the one center section. Yeah, for the one center section, that's not enough. Just because you have the big lever, which I don't know what that force is here, but when you've got 34 inches breaker bar, I don't even know where to go with this.
Try something different.
The sleeve just makes the most sense. You know, like what's on the market already.
Maybe that's why they do it.
So I'm gonna let you string it. I'm gonna let you try it completely. This is basically just gonna make it a bend through handle.
I don't think it's gonna work.
There you go.
Remember earlier when I said remember this moment? Some of you caught this.
I knew that was gonna split right there because after I glued it up, I was like, that's the only section. That's the only part holding it. Why did I put it? Because you would ideally have it in the main handle, and that's the problem without starting from the scratch. But in the main handle, then it would have to split the full length. Now, all you gotta do is put your limb bolts through here,
Yeah, there you go.
and then we're good to go. I know who you are. Somebody commented 3 minutes into the video, this will never work. And you were right.
So this is where I wanted to quit the video. But we're not like that. So here's version 2. I've been doing a lot of research on the two-piece bows that are on the market, and I've found out that they're very expensive, and that's probably due to the difficulty of building them. I think the uniqueness of two-piece bows holds more value than the practicality of it, which is sometimes hard for me to get on board with because I'm such a practical thinker. If you're someone who uses a two-piece bow, let me know where it's more valuable than a three-piece takedown. I would love to know your opinion. This method may not be practical for the average person, but because of having a lot of scrap fiberglass and extra hardware, it made it easy for me to make.
So it feels to me that the inserts just took up too much material, or took out too much material rather, that the weak point will be in line there where all those inserts are. But maybe it's strong enough. Let's try it. So first things first, we'll put a string on this. Okay. More promising than the previous method. Man, well, let's just break it like Cass said. Because I was able to reline the handle together, it should have a pretty close to perfect tiller. So let's start drawing it down, and what I'm looking for, I'm actually not looking for as much as I'm listening for any crackling. It's not flat, let's wedge it. There we go. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so that's 20 pounds and it's looking solid. The handle actually looks like it's stiff, which is what I was going for. There's 28 pounds, there's 30. I believe this one was like a 45, I think, something around there at the full length. I'm just easing it in. Let's go to 25 inches now. Okay, that's 25 inches, 33 pounds. It's looking pretty good. Full draw, 40 pounds. Now what I'm gonna do next is clean up these sides so that it'll be able to grab and shoot it. Let's do that.
This time I added 2 extra pieces of fiberglass as well as 2 inlays of wood. This should make it much stronger.
Did I just make a mistake? I removed all that excess, but now is it too thin? I don't know. Let's test it real quick. If it's not too thin, I'm gonna clean up these edges just to make it look good, and then we'll line it up properly and make it feel good. So what I did is mostly necessary because it needs to be thinner so that I can shoot it. Please be strong. Okay, looking good so far. Surely it'll work. I'm watching it with you guys. Looks like it's working. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up properly and then we'll do a little final reveal here and see if this would be a good practical solution. But before that, there would be two more options here. One would be, instead of 4 bolts, to just have 2 and then have this bottom piece part of the original handle. It just would need to be solid enough that it wouldn't lift. The other thing you could do is, if you didn't want to have to use an Allen key to adjust it, you could use knobs on bolts to make them specifically for like 3-piece takedown bows. Then you would have a 2-piece bow that has hardware, but you could remove the hardware without a tool. So this doesn't actually work. I'm just gonna do it for the thumbnail,
Okay.
just to show people.
You think it works?
You wanna try?
I'll try it.
I've actually drawn it to 828. I haven't shot it though. I think if you're shooting with an open grip, it's not uncomfortable. No noises.
There were some noises.
It was just settling in. I drew it to 28 multiple times. Man, whose group was this? That was pretty good.
It's alright.
That sounded pretty good. What do you think, boss?
I think that is a beautiful bow.
Don't lie. Yeah, not bad. It shoots good. The handle's uncomfortable because it's a square.
The threaded inserts we're gonna poke through, so I had to do them short and then add pockets on the back side of this so that it sits in.
That makes sense. But yeah, it shoots good.
I know the bow shoots good. I just needed to know if like it would break.
So you made Kaz test it?
Yeah. I'm surprised it worked.
He was fully expecting this thing to just absolutely fold in your hand, splinters going everywhere.
Step 1, don't take it apart before you take the string off. But let's see what this takes to remove it. So I don't know if this is practical at all. I think the practicality is just the ease of packing it up, storing it, and transporting it. But that's all you have to do, and then if you want to store these, you can totally just screw them in here. So Grayson, that's the takedown.
You can stuff that anywhere.
Yeah, so here I cut out the little sockets because these were gonna get close to going all the way through, and I didn't want it to go all the way through because I thought it would be too weak. So that slides into that,
So
which helps you align it actually.
Would have helped a lot if you just had a little bit more of a handle to start with.
Yeah, I think if I had a handle to start with, it would help more. That shoots like it did before. That shoots really good. Another day's here, and the one thing that Kaz was displeased with was how uncomfortable this is in the hand. And it wasn't because of the bolts, it was because he felt like this was boxy. My initial thought was, well, it's just a shoot off the hand self bow. It's kind of how it feels, you just get used to it. But then I thought, well, what would happen if I tried to improve it? So let's add material to this side, and I'll glue up maybe 1 inch of material, and then I can shape that to the shape of the handle. And then from there, I can just run it on the bandsaw to connect the slit to this other slit. And structurally, the bow should be the same, but how you interact with the bow with your hand should feel different. Let's give that a shot. So I got it shaped decent, but I do have one question. I guess my question is, will that cause it to pinch if it flexes at all on the hand shooting it right there. If it does pinch, should I try to cut it in from another side? Or should I just go for it? I don't think it's probably flexing slightly, but I don't think it's really flexing. Maybe I'll put a string on it and see if that gap closes at all. If the gap's not closing, I just want to cut it straight through because that'll be easiest. Yeah, I think I'm good to just... All right, now it's shaped for a little bit more comfort. Let's make sure it works. Yes. Yeah, that's solid because just because of the way it's shaped and I resanded it, it's not pinching right there where I cut it through. See, I kind of did a double saw cut there because I went back through. So it's a little wider there. Not a perfect joint, but it's not moving at all on me. All right, let's see if Kaz approves this time. I did it just for you.
Ah, yeah. That's so much better. Let me shoot it. That's better. It is much more comfy.
Shoots good, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
There it is. Thanks for watching my experiments. I'll see you guys on the next video.